So let's get right into it. We're talking about a legal battle that was so much more than just that. It exploded out of the courtroom and became this global spectacle. It made all of us question what we thought we knew about fame, about the media, and even about justice.
And yeah, that's really the core of it, isn't it? It wasn't just a trial. I mean, that quote just nails it. This wasn't just about two people. Nope. It blew up into this huge cultural moment that basically split the internet in two and got everybody talking.
And that's really what we're going to unpack here. How this one single trial sent massive shockwaves through Hollywood, completely changing the way the industry works. So you got to ask, right? How on earth did we get to this point?
Well, before we can even get to the trial, we have to go back to the relationship that started it all. And, it began like so many Hollywood stories do. It looked like a total fairy tale from the outside. You had these two huge stars, their worlds collide. It was this intense whirlwind romance. So, to the public, what did we see? We saw fame, we saw passion, we saw this incredible intensity. That was the story. But behind closed doors, well, the trial peeled back the curtain on a totally different reality. That same intensity, that passion, it turned volatile, emotional, just deeply toxic.
And then, that private collapse, it didn't stay private for long. It exploded into the public in a huge way when Amber Heard accused Johnny Depp of domestic abuse. And boom, right there, that was it. The public story, the narrative, was immediately set in stone.
And this is a really, really important point to grasp. Before any evidence was really looked at in a courtroom, the headlines were already written, the story was out, the media narrative just took off like a rocket. And the consequences were immediate, and they were huge. So what happened to Johnny Depp? Man, the fallout was fast and it was brutal. Studios? They backed away. Huge projects? Gone. He was kicked out of these giant movie franchises. His reputation, the one he'd built for decades, was basically destroyed overnight. And for a long, long time, that's the version of events most people knew.
But then came 2022, and everything changed. Depp sued Heard for defamation. And this trial? Well, it wasn't your typical court case. Not even close. It became a full-blown spectacle. Why? Because they decided to live stream it. And that one decision, it turned a Virginia courtroom into a global television event. I mean, we're talking millions of people watching every single day. Just think about that for a second. This wasn't some Netflix show. This was a real-time raw look at the complete breakdown of a relationship, and the entire world was watching live. We'd never seen anything like it on this scale.
And because it was live streamed, nothing was off limits. Every single detail was thrown under this massive public microscope. I'm talking every facial expression, every word a witness said, private text messages, incredibly personal audio recordings. It was all blasted out to the world and instantly chopped up into content to be debated and analyzed by literally everyone.
And right here, this is where you see the whole game change. Social media basically became its own courtroom, running alongside the real one. Viral clips, memes, hot takes, they were shaping what people thought in real time. And honestly, they were moving way faster than the lawyers. Suddenly, that original story that everyone thought was true, it started to show some serious cracks.
So it all boils down to this, right? The whole thing forced us all to take a hard look at how these stories get built in the first place. You have to ask yourself, how much does just being first with a story matter? How much does power and influence shape what we believe is true? And maybe the biggest question of all, just how fragile is the truth when public perception can be twisted so easily?
So eventually, the jury comes back, a verdict is read. But its impact? Oh, it went way, way beyond that courtroom. This wasn't the end of the story. In a lot of ways, it was the start of a massive cultural shockwave.
Okay, so what was the legal outcome? Pretty straightforward. The jury found that Amber Heard did defame Johnny Depp in her op-ed, and she was ordered to pay damages. But, like we've been saying this whole time, the verdict itself was really just one piece of this giant, complicated puzzle.
And back in Hollywood, the fallout was instant. You had studios getting super cautious all of a sudden. You had contracts for big stars starting to change, with new, stricter clauses about personal conduct. And maybe most importantly, it kind of set a new precedent, right? That maybe you don't settle quietly anymore. Maybe you fight it out in public. It was like a brand new playbook was being written for the whole industry.
You know, when all the dust settled, for a lot of people watching, it wasn't really about picking Team Depp or Team Heard. This quote here really gets to the heart of it.
It wasn't about choosing sides, it was about accountability. It was this huge public look at what it means to be accountable for your actions, for your words, and for your partner relationship that just falls apart.
So what did we actually learn from watching this whole spectacle unfold? Well, for one, it showed us just how destructive toxic relationships can be, for everyone involved. It was also a masterclass in how the media can build a story and how that story can warp the truth. And maybe the most unsettling part, it showed us just how easy it is to turn real people's real, deep pain into just another piece of entertainment for us to consume.
Look, at the end of the day, this trial was so much more than just a passing headline. It was a huge cultural moment. It was a warning sign about what happens when media, celebrity, and justice all collide. And it was, without a doubt, a turning point for Hollywood, one that I guarantee the industry is never going to forget.
Thank you for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe.